So stumbled upon a video by a guy showing how to separate the upper and lower part of the Jeep Wrangler shifter. So it's a two piece. It's got I guess a shiny stainless piece on the bottom and a black piece that actually goes up into the cab. And if you're like me, I have a body lift. I think it's a 2 inch or a 3 inch. I think it's a 2 inch actually. Your transmission, and if you lower your transmission, which I also have, your shifter runs into all kind of clearance issues with your body, and I could not for the life of me get the thing separated. This guy shows a way with it in the Jeep, and a pickle fork, or actually two pickle forks, because they're angled, and they sort of he kind of leverages them off of each other, and it sort of pries the thing off there. It works pretty well. Well, I've actually got my transmission out right now because I'm rebuilding mine, because the upper seal is or was bad. I had I guess enough of a gap in there to over time let some water in. The it's important to be able to do this, to be able to change that seal, because otherwise you have to stretch it out over either the top half or the bottom half, and I'll show you here in a second what that looks like. But I used a different method, same basic principle, using a vise. It was kind of tough to get off, but I mean, I was able to without having to cut the thing off. And now I can actually put on my shift extender, so that my vehicle will it'll feel right. The gears will be up in the right place, and ergonomically speaking, and I'll also have a little bit better issue with, or fix for the clearance issue with the body there. So really happy I found that video, and I just wanted to, I guess, put a little bit more out there on the internet for other folks that may have had the same issue. I've looked in forums and stuff, and there's stuff out there, and it seems to be people are more often than not just confused about what piece you're talking about. And so if I could add another resource for folks out there, that'd be really awesome, I think. So anyway, I'll show you what I did and how I did it, and hopefully it helps somebody. This is what I was referring to. So there's a lower shifter here that's a shiny steel sword, and this goes into the top of the transmission here with the AX15. Then that mates with this piece that has kind of like a bonded rubber and metal bushing inside of here that has sort of I guess like almost like a detent, sort of not a ball, but a kind of a nod, or like kind of a raised portion of metal on the metal interior piece of this that kind of sort of locks it onto this piece here. And I tried with it out of the Jeep, just like banging on it with a hammer over and over again, and just could never get any luck. And I just ended up actually cutting out some of the body around where the shifter enters the floorboard, and that ended up at least allowing me to drive. But I just could never figure it out, and I never wanted to cut the thing. I actually explored that idea of having maybe somebody cut it off and maybe add a section for me or something, but that was not ideal. So what I ended up doing, as you can see here, was went ahead and on the bendy part there, grabbed it with the vise, and I tried to compress it down as much as I could, but my goal was to get it when it was fully on. It's popped off now. Normally you can't make any of the, normally all this square portion is tucked up inside of here. And so what I did was I got it snugged down pretty tight in the vise, and then I took just like a crowbar, pry bars, and just kind of started working it. And it took a little bit of progress, but I mean, I got, with a little bit of prying, I got it up maybe like a centimeter or so up, and I knew I was on the right track. And just kept working it, and eventually hit it with the right angle from the top of this vise, and it finally gave way, and it's off now. So I can show you there. That's the sort of indentation there that the thing lives in. But when they do sell commercial, like through Rugged Ridge and I think a few other companies they sell body kits, but they do sell a shift extender that's like an insert here, and then there's another version that is just a replacement for the bottom section of the shifter. So this portion here, where this S portion is just kind of extended. My kit I had, and this is years ago, came with the one that was sort of a somebody fabbed it out of a piece of square tubing, and it had like some screws that kind of tightened it down to this post, and then it would fit into this portion again. But I think I actually have gotten rid of that because it was basically just sitting around my garage, and I could never get the thing off of there, and it just was gonna turn into junk. So I think I actually got rid of it. So I'm gonna maybe have to reach back out to the company I got my lift kit from and see if I can purchase another. But these pieces here I've seen as well, and that actually looks like the better option to go with, just because it seems more solid. You'd hate to have those screws loosen up on you going down the road and you can't shift and you're on the highway or something crazy. So anyway, just a very basic approach. I tried, kind of almost slide hammering this thing and all kinds of other stuff. Could never get the dang thing off, and that sort of almost puller style force to upward on this got the thing off within. I mean, I was out here a couple of minutes. Honestly, I just had seen the video, and I finally got my transmission off of my vise. I had to buy this vise to do the transmission because I had a little wimpier one before. But finally got a wild hair to try it out, and man, I'm just blown away that I finally have this sucker apart. I got parts to order anyway, but hopefully that helps some people out. And anyway, happy Jeeping out there.